get started with this. I just gave the 2-minute warning on the map. Usually these start a little bit earlier, but, you know, sometimes they go a little later, which is why I don't do the, you know, the 5:30 up in TSB anymore, but that's besides the point. Hope everyone is doing A-okay. Wee Woo here. We're going to commentate over another OFCRA PvP operation. I always think these are a treat to do because, unlike an FNF round, which is only 50 minutes, these are literally 2.5 hours. And they can get very, very crazy, very down to the wire, and some of the coolest PvP things I've ever seen have been out of OFCRA. More than FNF, I would say, in terms of the really awesome plays. FNF, we do see some pretty fun meme plays too as well. But it's basically going to be Northern Fapovo forces based off of, you know, Cold War Soviet assets versus German, I don't even know how to call it, Budweiser. That's a beer. The main German mod. And they also have Red and Tanks, which is the main German armor mod. So we'll probably get an enemy tank or two on the German side here. I'm saying enemy because of that marker. There was no spectator slot, so I'm going into Op 4 just to kill myself and then spectate. And we'll go off of that. But otherwise, we are streaming on a 5-minute delay. So, gosh, it's still going to take another 200 seconds to start the actual stream itself, but that is alright. I'm thinking of, for today, just doing an all-day stream of this. Then just chill with, you know, the fans, play some DayZ, kill a few people, yada-da. They're about to go into the in-game warm-up and all. We'll also hear their local chat, so a lot of different languages in OFCRA. But because I'm solo casting this, I'm gonna stay in their channels. So I'm just gonna run off in a bush and die. And that should give me spectator. Cool. Alright, so I run off and disappear. Now, this spectator is a little finicky with the shift and alt, so, you know, I'll do my best to keep up here. Otherwise, if we scroll in, we should be able to hear their comms. Now, when I start seeing casualties, though, I will go to my own little channel or just mute myself on TeamSpeak, and we'll still have a channel here. So it's yelling at me to get back and pause, but that is A-okay. So, main objective today is 2 neutral objectives. The first one is an observation outpost, which is all the way up here, has some good sight lines over here. And then the other objective is an HQ position over here, which, as you can see, has a lot of vehicles down. I'm not sure if those are ambient or those can be enterable, but I guess we'll just have to see when the players come up here. And then we also have a DCA position, which has 2 flak pieces. Yep. 2 flak panzers, and these are priority targets for the North Fapovian government to come and take out, and Blue 4 has to defend them. I think they're static, but again, we'll have to see when we actually get to the AO. So, we recently did an operation on Fapovo. So, I can tell you right now that that is natural, these are natural, this is not natural. That was actually added in. And you can actually tell because it's closer folded into the area. These towers, I believe, were also added in. This Overwatch position was also added in, so they added basically a lot of ways to layer things up, because we actually just had an op the other day focusing on this compound over here. But the players went through this area here, and they actually added a bunch of fog too. So there's some really good sight lines with a tank that can really overwatch this position, but the fog is going to make it incredibly difficult for Blue 4 armor to get that position going. But otherwise, standard operations-wise for OFCRA, if either side loses 5 of their members, I think today is 2 though, so you have to completely wipe the opponent, you also get points off of that. But usually the team that wipes the opponent is the winner anyway. So, you know, coming down, we're going to hear a lot of different languages.
We will be there later on, so we will hold here first, go there later.
So it's always nice to come in and hear their local comms. So we've got some AT, there's also some HE rounds from the bunker Fasts, which these are. But it looks like these are the HAT versions for anti-tank. Got some really beefy marksman rifles on the, I believe those are G3s.
Thought I understood the team, but I wasn't sure about that. So yeah.
And I just don't know if that's a weapon team or an actual team. And then that's the HE one. That's the so that's the panzer, and then that's the bunker. And then the warhead, just a different color. Otherwise, vehicles we have in here, we have a tank. Oh, that's a nice one. They have a little tanklet too, and it has it's a tow weasel. So it's got the tow and the MG right there. And otherwise, it's about, I think, a 40v40. Might be a little bigger than that, though. But they also have a static M2 right here.
Do is go to our weasel. We have some friends over there, so outfit yourself.
Otherwise, these guys have a pretty bulky group here. They've got some APCs with a turnout MG3 on there, and then some transport cars. So, I mean, the Germans, they've got some pretty good stuff, but in all honesty, they're putting smoke on the thing. It's going to be really tough to use that tank in this terrain with this level of fog. We don't really see that, though. Oh, no, it did get foggier for the OFCRA guys. So the tanks aren't going to be as useful as you'd think because of this thick fog. But what's nice here is we do have a T-72, and they got a little... I love it. They got a little skull on the front of it, too. But it looks like we're seeing RPDs in play with drum mags, so 75-round magazines there. AK-762 based, but the main weapon that the Blue 4 guys had were actually G36Ks, which are 5.56. So OFCRA has a bit of a caliber advantage here. But it looks like to counter the Weasel and the MBT, the Northern Fapovian government has a T-72 up-armored with reactive armor and a BMD-1, but with a little toe on it, which actually that would technically be a Metis. And then for their transport, they get BTR-70s from the looks of it, but they also have a BRDM and a missile, whatchamacallit, BRDM, I forget the exact designation, but if this is stationary, it's got 5 anti-tank guided missiles to fire as well. And then they also have a transport helicopter with some guns on the sides. So OFCRA, it looks like, because I was on OFCRA before I killed myself to get Spectator, they're going to do a large convoy here. And then they also might send stuff over here to just check this out, but we'll just have to see how things go. They're going to do a very wide berth here to get a strike team around to try and do recon. But other notes you want to know is that Blue 4 cannot pass this blue line. But OFCRA, you know, their side of the government, because their side of the country, excuse me, for OFCRA, because Blue 4, they're playing defensive today. So yeah, questions I would love to have answered, and we'll see this as things begin, is can Blue 4 mount up in these vehicles, both here and at the outpost, or are those just static objects? I would assume no, because the spare tank would be a little OP, but we'll see when we get there. I do like Blue 4's plan, though. It's just I know for a fact that that tank is going to go somewhere else, but with these being BTR-70s, and I also believe the BMD is amphibious, they can actually go across the water. The BRDMs are also amphibious. So this gives them a lot of room to actually do a massive flank here and come right on. Amazing. This gives them a big opportunity to just come around the side of the AO here. Probably, you know, dismount right here. I remember this AO from a TSB op from a while ago. Little hard to get the VIX up. There is some landing spots. And then they can sneak all the way in and start hitting the HQ positions and whatnot. But I'll be curious to see where Blue 4 is going to try to set up defensive lines. Looks like they're changing the the route of the helicopter to instead swing around from the west instead of the east. Otherwise, we'll just have to see how these guys deploy. There's still there's 2 minutes left for the safe start. I'll answer a few questions from chat. First off, my day was great. Thanks for asking. And Midgie, they're not Glob Mob. Glob Mob are like Cup assets. They're really, really overpowered against anything that's not Cup. It's from the BWA mod, which TSB has used in the past. They're really good assets. I will say, though, the German tank is going to be a little bit better than the T-72. But it's also going to depend on who lands the first shot where.
Wouldn't know, you're not a crewman.
But yeah, the 5.56 versus 7.62 game is going to be really interesting. The fact that OP4 can go amphibious is going to be really interesting. I'm really curious to see where Blue 4 is going to deploy their forces here, because they are looking a little light compared to OP4 here. This is all a Blue 4. It's about a 30v30. I thought it was 40v40, but it looks a little more like 30v30, but it might be slightly less. But then again, OP4 also looking a little on the light side, so we'll see how things go. You know, something I've noticed on OP4, I'm not actually seeing any AT on the backs of anyone. We see that's okay, so there's an RPG. That is a RPSH something. That's a thermobaric warhead. That's not meant for tanks, that's meant for infantry. And then someone else had the green 4 AT weapon, which is not really AT, it's more like just firing a grenade. There it is. I forget the exact designation. Otherwise, mission has started. And we are seeing people mount up in the BMD, a BTR, both the AT BRDM. Flip, I don't know what he's doing with that car, but that's not going to be able to be amphibious, and then the helicopter. But no one took the tank. I get it, though, why they wouldn't take that type of vehicle, because, again, the terrain is going to be really, really hellish for that. Plus, that tank would have to go on its own vector and could easily get caught by the enemy tank because it can't be amphibious. So it makes sense. But I gotta wonder what this group is that's gonna go and check out that enemy tank position and attack from that other side. But otherwise, Blue 4 have also deployed, and we're seeing them take the APCs, I forget the exact designation of those, and they just drove a car. Mr. Dave.
Look, I've rode that picture, there just also is a pond out of nowhere.
According to Mr. Dave,
PHK, didn't realize.
It was, the pond came out of nowhere. It's okay, Dave. It happens to the best of us. Otherwise... He can't hear me. I don't know if he knows that I can hear him, because usually I don't listen to local comms, but... Oh, he's also got an RCO scope on his gun. Interesting. So longer calibers here. I was assuming that thing was going to go pick him up, but it turned around. It's another APC. And then we also have the Weasel and I believe the tank coming up. No, it's the Weasel and a transport car going up in that direction. The tank, though, is... I know I saw it crewed. It's actually still at base, and we have another APC getting picked up. It looks like they crashed into something. I see.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm not canceling it now.
Get in. No.
Interesting. So a little bit of a rough start. This is not TSB, this is OFCRA. TSB doesn't do their own PvP stuff unless it's they're in Friday night fights. Alright, that didn't explode. Good. Hate to see something explode early on, but no, this is something I do because it's cool. That's the best way to put it. But otherwise, BRDM just pushed up and didn't spot anything interesting on the border, so it's now pulling back. BMD is the CZ asset here. It's going to come up and do a massive water push, but they did accurately predict where Blue 4 is going to set up, because this is the MSR into the territories here, so it's a good prediction to make. But Blue 4 hasn't brought their tank up here yet. I wonder if the BMD can hit from over here. That's going to be a really tough shot to make. Maybe it could snipe with the ATGM, the Metis launcher on it, but then from over here, the fog is just going to be way too thick. I just paged up the max I could do. You can still kind of see things, but it's going to be really tough to spot that tank. But I could see them doing it. Sniping the tank early on would be a great way to get the upper advantage for OPFOR in this operation, because OPFOR is not bringing the tank themselves, but they can surely bet that Blue 4 is going to use it, because Blue 4 doesn't have to, you know, go on a bottlenecked position here. And again, my day's alright. I got a story to tell, but I'll wait till day Z. But in TSB, we rotate our main mod set out, so every 3 months we change something out. So 2 rotations ago, it was BW for German assets. Right now, it's the Spanish Armed Forces mod. And we do a 5-minute delay because the staff members of OFCRA have asked me to keep a 5-minute delay. And I know Friday Night Fights is also contemplating that. I politely asked them no, though, because I do like to interact with you guys when I can. And the 5-minute delay does make it tough. And it's really easy to tell when people are stream sniping, in all honesty. But, you know, for 50-minute rounds of FNF, it's a little more obvious to tell compared to, like, a 2-hour OFCRA operation. You know, it's harder to get at that because, you know, you have all of this. Like, honestly, the first hour in OFCRA is all about your troop deployment and your planning and your recon. And then the second hour is a majority of your combat. But it's honestly how real warfare would be, and it's just something cool to cover, in my opinion, because you get to see how everything is. Because we're already 15 minutes in. 10 of those minutes might have been part of safe start, though, so technically only 5 minutes after the start. And we already see plenty of forces deploying, and then you're seeing OPFOR utilizing this amphibious strategy to get their groups around, and they're going to have the helicopter join them. But by bringing these assets with them, it gives them fire superiority compared to whatever Blue 4 might also throw at them. So I'm assuming the vehicles at those 2 storage areas were not allowed to be touched by Blue 4 here, but they still haven't gotten to them yet. So again, for those of you joining in, the 4 objectives today is a neutral outpost and a neutral HQ that either side needs to control by the end of the op to score points. The 3rd objective is the Germans have to defend these 2 Flak vehicles. If they do, they score 3 points. If OPFOR blows both of them up, they score 3 points. And then if you whittle down, it's either 5 or 2. But basically, if you kill most of the enemy force, you also get a few points. Thought I just saw something disappear over here, but I think that was just my mind playing tricks on me. I do like, however, that Blue 4 is doing some wide flanks right here. I think they're trying to get Overwatch positions. Because maybe their commander is thinking there might be an amphibious angle based off of the vehicles that were selected. But Blue 4 has done a really good job. They've got Overwatch on the MSR. And they're also putting defensive forces on the neutral objectives just to hold them to make sure they don't get flanked. Because if they don't put security on the left side, then OPFOR can just sneak in and blow up those 2 Flak panzers and score 3 points easy. And again, OFCRA ops that last about 2 hours, give or take. But in my opinion, it's the best way to see PvP, because you see all the planning behind it. And then there's a lot of recon done because everyone needs to play it safe because it's one life too. So if you lose your if you lose a few guys early on, that can really come back to bite you for the rest of the rounds. But what I really do like seeing in all the OFCRA commentaries I've done is you don't see who's going to win until the very end. Usually you don't see someone screw something over in the early on, and even if they do, if one group loses a big chunk of units in the beginning, they're usually able to bounce right back. The last OFCRA one we did in Napa, I remember Op4 lost a vehicle early on because it got sniped in a convoy, but Blue 4 did not press the advantage of it, thinking it was just a lone vehicle because of how spaced the convoy was, and then Blue 4 ended up losing because they spread their units out too thin as they tried to figure out where Op 4 was going to come from. Yeah, right, the planning and asset distribution, you get Arma 2 vibes from it. It's really nice. But what's crazy here is that Blue 4 has actually predicted this exact thing coming, because we see all the Op 4 markers here, but in reality, it makes sense that Blue 4 would predict something like this, because obviously Op 4 is not going to come down the MSR, but everyone that plays in OFCRA, at least leadership-wise, similar to FNF, they're veterans. They know how to handle these groups. They've been doing it for years before, you know, I started covering either group. So this was a really great prediction. You got the BRDM in front, trying to do recon here, but it also makes me question how many guys are in that Vic ready to go. Now, similar to FNF, we've got some people that you will recognize from FNF in here. I haven't seen Carl Connor in FNF in a while, though, but I know Goatland would also go, Royd Camper would also go, NASA, Hippie, Bob Winchester, for example. Those are names you also see in FNF. He got me dead because I just wanted to AFK. Cheeseburger has 2 people. I think one's an AI, though. But yeah, again, it's a multi-community thing, so it's a lot more of an international community. Also, we got Flash Gamer in here somewhere, I think. Yeah, there he is. Flash Ranger, that's it. He's a buddy of mine that gave me my first co-commentary job for a Capture the Flag thing 2 years ago. Let's see, yeah, they're digging trenches right now, and the BRDM just came up. AT guy is still digging a trench. Oh, this is going to be a perfect target. All right, Aaron, come on. Come on, name buddy.
The water, in the water. Can I shoot with the...
Oh, this is going to be nasty. There goes the Recon Vic. Crew are bailing out immediately. And now they're going to be picked off. I don't think Op 4 was expecting Blue 4 to have units around here. What they should have done, though, was they should have flown the chopper ahead and done a quick recon of their route. That would have been the smartest thing, because then they might have been able to spot, you know, this vehicle right here. So Op 4 is going to try to hide underwater, but McConnell gets picked off. Hood now trying to get to the shoreline. But hot damn. Also, something to note is the fog is picking up. And now you've got that helicopter coming around. Looks like this group has dismounted here, realizing that Op 4 have been engaged already. Hood died. I don't know if he drowned or was shot. But Cheeseburger is also unconscious down here. He is going to drown soon. So, great start by Blue 4 to counter that. Op 4 is going to have to be quick on their feet and adjust, but by losing that AT vehicle, that's going to make it a lot harder to counter enemy forces in the... Okay, so Op 4, sorry, let me restate that. Op 4 lost their BRDM AT, so that's going to make it really hard for them to counter the tanks. I got to mute myself now because now that people have died, they'll just chat on the channels here. But I think Mr. Cool is solo crewing this. And just looking around, I believe, is he with Garrett? No, okay, so Garrett and Nubass are with him. But otherwise, Blue 4 has to change their tactic here on where they're going to bring that BRDM. And then you also have to consider that this helicopter is doing a very wide insertion here, but it could be spotted by Blue 4, and they're all looking right in that direction, so they're going to know. Yeah, alright, they have eyes on it. They know it's coming around. So I'll be curious to see what Blue 4 tries to send to counter that. But they know that it's going to probably drop somewhere to their south, so... I don't know what's going to be sent over there, but we'll have to see how things go. Blue 4 does not have any air assets now. You got PHK. I mean, this is a really great Overwatch position, this outpost, because it's able to see anything coming. So as long as he is quick on where he's looking, he should be all right. But he is looking at where, you know, Op4, more of Op4 would be sent around that vector. Here, hold up. So that is a, that's a man-made bridge from the Mission Maker. But with all of these around, alright, so that's probably why Blue 4 countered that spot, because both of them would know that those spots are there. So Blue 4, knowing that that was a vehicle path, basically countered anything coming up in that direction, thinking Op4 would stick the coast. Again, little lucky in that prediction. Makes me kind of lift my brow and go, little sketchy, but it's understandable. So I'm going to look through PHK's vision, see if he spots those guys. But anyway, Crusader, thanks for the Twitch Prime sub. I hope you keep enjoying the operations. Hope you keep enjoying the build streams, the PvP commentaries. Hope, you know, one of those things tickles your fancy. And I hope you keep enjoying it all. And, sorry, I'm repeating myself. And you stay safe from COVID. Definitely. So PHK is the guy that was talking with Cool Dave that caused him to drive his car into a pond that he swears wasn't there. But this is one of the major things that is nice about OFCRA is the sheer amount of time that will be spent reconning everything out. Since this is, I believe, about a 30v30, give or take. Every man counts, every asset counts, and getting any intel that you can is going to be very viable. So I'm going to go back to free camming. That helicopter is actually deployed. Hold on. Oh, okay, no, it was just a Blue 4 marker that they made. I thought they were, like, right next to bad guys. But they have landed and shut the engine off, and they are recouping here. This is the 6 EME guys, which are... I've seen them FNF. They're pretty good. But we'll see what they do. They might have come down a little hard, because I am seeing them bleed. The front of the helicopter's all cracked, so... Did they land on something? They might have landed on a bush, but I don't see a flattened texture. I don't believe they were shot at either. Because I don't see any Blue 4 assets coming down to counter them. So, interesting. And then we also have the tank. Yeah, the fog's definitely opened up, and now it'll be able to spot anything from the far area. That's nice. Good use of fog there, because you can state in the quote-unquote forecast that the fog can change after X amount of time, and the weather can also change, so it's really good on making those dynamics. So that BRDM is probably going to get up on an Overwatch position and see these trench lines. However, the tank itself being farther away at a different angle, that's a really good bait tactic, because on an initial scan from that BMD, it's going to probably spot these trenches a little out of place first, because of the, you know, the slightly darker, not darker, lighter lime green that it has compared to the grounding. So it'll focus on that, maybe even take a shot, and hopefully that's enough to bait it out so that the tank can then fire back. Now, I'm looking back here. It doesn't look like PHK has noticed that convoy up there. By the way, the commanding officers, it's PHK for Blue 4 and Flip for Flap on Op 4. Two guys that, again, we see a lot in not FNF, OFCRA. I believe both I've seen command before, though. So the commander's up here just making sure he sees everything, so he can delegate his forces accordingly. I like that. Yeah. Rest in peace, Op 4 Recon, definitely. Hey, Dante, how you doing? But again, I've got a new story to tell after this, and we'll talk about it while I play some DayZ. But PHK is probably about to see that vehicle. Oh, he looks away at the worst possible time, because he's tunnel vision by the monoculars, but it's not showing it for me. So he might actually not see Op 4 sneak by. Okay, no. So now he's in the binoculars. Binoculars, excuse me. Caught a binocular, my silly goose ass. But OFCRA might be able to get by with this. Yep, OFCRA's on that bridge. Oh, PHK. OFCRA just snuck by. That's the one issue when you only have one guy to overwatch all of this territory. He's gonna miss stuff. Because he doesn't know which direction to look, because if he focuses on one direction the entire time, it's leaving a massive blind spot, and if he's right, I mean, then he's probably stream sniping. But OFCRA have deployed. They've all dismounted. I don't think any of them are staying in the BTR because they know it has a loud engine, and then Blue 4 will just come around to counter it. Meanwhile, BMD is dismounting a few infantry guys. They're going to try to do recon. I'm going to quickly look at this Papa unit here. It's Zicky, and he does have eyes on that force. So we can't see, but yeah, you can see that lime green trench line I was talking about, and he has eyes on that. So we'll see if the BMD decides to engage, but it's going to be cautious because they did mark this position as, you know, probably where Blue 4 is going to put their tank. The question becomes, has Blue 4 spotted him? And he's looking very close. I think Zicky's behind the hill over there. I think he spotted Zicky because he's pointing that position out like, hey, I think I saw something over there. So both of these groups have spotted each other. I don't know if that tank has HE rounds. I would assume yes, though, because OFCRA, they don't do a lot of, like, they'll put tanks with HE, they'll do thermal barrack rounds, they'll do the whole 9 yards for PvP. So, HE put on that opposite ridge line would be absolutely devastating to OPFOR infantry while they were scouting. And still, PHK is looking around, making sure he didn't miss anything, but, oh man. That's crazy how he was literally turning away as the BTR started crossing. That's the level of insanity you get with OFCRA at times. Even FNF, all PvP, actually. As people look away at the wrong time, and you just have this chaos ensue. But we got the 6 EME guys coming around. I think they're going to go for the DCA and demo it. And that's going to give OPFOR the advantage of 3 points from the get-go. Which means Blue 4 is going to bank on holding those 2 positions. I don't know if Blue 4 is going to get a pop-up when those positions are hit, though. I'm going to come back and check on this tank. Excuse me. And I don't have anyone for the multi, because I don't know if anyone on the ground was streaming. But yeah, tank definitely looking on that far ridge line. They're doing their best. That would be the, this is the commander cam. And you can see that OPFOR mark right there. Of course, they don't see that mark. But they definitely know something's here, and they're scouting up there. Now, this BMD has... I think they have a mod that lets them tap on vehicles, which is why we were hearing that and they were just spamming it for a meme, but... This BMD is probably going to have to reposition. Seeing that there's an Overwatch group right there, they can assume the tank's up there too. But even then, if they're doing recon and they try to cross this, you would assume that the Blue 4 guys would see it, obviously, and then go up to the edge of the bank and just RPG it as it came close, or technically panzer it because they're German. And they have plenty of AT. Again, the AT warheads are these for the Panzerfaust, and then these are the Bunkerfaust, one that Gotland has. It's a little more green, and it's got some big orange text on it, and that's for anti-infantry. Not as effective as the thermal barrack rocket launchers that OPFOR has, but, you know, it's HE compared to thermal barrack. One is just a massive shockwave, and the other one literally sucks the oxygen out of your lungs and cooks them. Now, I'm looking back over at PHK here. Yeah, he still has no idea that those OPFOR guys are down there. If he knew where to look, I think he'd be able to spot them. But I don't think he's going to get that. So that's actually back at the DC position, the DCA. But yeah, he's going to now thoroughly check these woods. He knows his blue 4 guys are right there. And he's checking that left flank again. But yeah, the fog really cleared up. That's nice. So that's going to allow for, you know, long-range engagements with that tank. But blue 4 already up a Vic. They still have their tank. OPFOR decide not to take their own tank. This is looking like it's in blue 4's pocket. But last round, it was the same thing. Blue 4 had an advantage, sniped an OPFOR convoy Vic. But it can still change in the blink of an eye. If OPFOR were to find PHK and snipe him, for example, that would sever blue 4's chain of command, and the squads remaining would have to think on their feet. What was that? That sounded like some sort of HE missile, and I think that was a... Yeah, that was the BMD's ATGM that just fired. Yep, you have them on right here. They're trying to snipe that tank. I had a feeling if they found it, they were going to try to go for it. So tank has now pulled back. I don't believe it was a successful hit, though. Definitely it impacted on something. They fired a second one that flew over. Hold on, no. It hit the tank. The gun turret is down. See how they're moving it around? So the tank is disabled, and the top gun is also disabled. So a really great turret hit. I'm not sure if the tank is going to be able to repair it. They also have one of the guys in the tank is dead. So OPFOR just turned it around a little bit. They didn't take the tank out. It could still be repaired, but they've got a free kill, disabled the guns. If they get another hit on it, they'll potentially kill someone else in there. So that was a great snipe shot by the ATGM on that BMD-1. Good shot there. Hey, Nim, how you doing? And Uzu's here, too. I'm going to quickly look back at the commander here. He's still watching this left flank. He just doesn't know where they are specifically. But I love how we're, you know, observing him, and he did a freaking 180 to check what that explosion was, and we did too. Otherwise, OPFOR still sneaking around. Now they're going to probably get into an overwatch position right here and scout out the DCA position. They're going to be extra cautious, not seeing any blue 4 guys in there. They're probably going to suspect some sort of trap. But the reality is blue 4 is just giving up that objective. We just heard another ATM shot of some sort. And it landed a little far on the right. I don't know if that was an ATGM. I think that was actually the main cannon. But I don't know if OPFOR knows that they have actually knocked the gun out. Yeah, so he's trying to rain AT shells, technically armor-piercing shells, onto the tank. But from top, since gravity's gonna bring it down, he could actually knock the engine out if he gets a lucky hit on it. But this tank is now playing defensive. It's Nubass and Mr. Cool trying to coordinate, but that gun turret is still disabled, and it's stuck. So I don't know what that tank's going to do at this point. Blue 4 doesn't have any long-range AT. Those Panzerfaust only go up to about 200 to 300 meters. I do love this camo netting they've put on the vehicle, though. That's actually really cool. It's probably the most well-camo netted Vic I have seen ever. Nice. But yeah, they've left those positions because they know the BMD can just snipe them. But what's going to happen here is these blue 4 are probably going to pull back and form defensive on one of these positions, which is going to be harmful to the 6 EME guys who, you know, we're probably going to get that snipe on that one vehicle. On the two Flak panzers, excuse me. But yeah, no, they've mounted up in this Vic. They're pulling away. This is going to give OPFOR the opportunity to push through. You've got the SL over here, Devil Dog, looking around and trying to make sure it's clear. Because I think this Vic is still going to do a really wide push around. I see a line over here. They might do a really wide flank. We got PHK looking right at where OPFOR is going right now. He does see a red smoke grenade. And he just saw OPFOR in the woods right there. Yep. So he has confirmed contact. He's now picking his gun out. Looking through his RCO scope. No, he was. He took that away. But yeah, someone, I think, missed through a red smoke grenade and completely gave their position away. So now the question is PHK going to order his forces there to push? Or is he going to keep them in a defensive position? Because I honestly don't know if that BRDM was able to get a radio call out when it got hit because all those guys went underwater. I mean, they had to have for the BRDM to slow down, but at the same time, they could have been just watching on the map if they had Blue 4 tracker and noticed that those things disappeared. So, we'll see what OPFOR decides to do here. But what do we got? We've got an AT guy. We've got the thermobaric AT. We got the squad leader, who has a PSO, I believe, on his AK. We've got rifleman AT, but I think he's also the medic. Yeah. And we got a team leader with GP25, and he also has RPK mags, and he's got that grenadier AT weapon. And we got an RPK gunner as well. But Blue 4 definitely have the better optics, to say the least. Tank is pulling back to base. I don't know if they can R&R back here. I don't see any R&R vehicles, but maybe there's a script that they can do. Meanwhile, the APC is still staying in this area. Looks like they did a dismount, but they're now mounting back up. Their tow ropes are out, so hopefully someone puts those away. And I think they're going to be redeployed to play defensive. OPFOR still deployed around here. They got the BMD ready to go up if they need it again, but I don't think anyone's getting eyes on, so they might attempt to cross into enemy territory at this rate. Blue 4, though, this is Blue 4 Charlie. They hear that BTR. I just heard it. So they know it's coming. And you've got a bunker Foss ready to, excuse me, a Panzer Foss ready to go. Bunker Foss again. It's more of a green, olive green warhead with orange writing on it. But they only have one left, I believe, because they used the other one on the BRDM right there. So they cannot miss with that, because if they do miss, there's nothing that they have to counter that BTR, and they'll have to pull back at that point. They could probably mag dump the gun, though, and disable it. So contact's about to start right there. Meanwhile, 6 EME guys are going to be on this hill overwatching the DCA position, but their opportunity to take it is now lost because the other OPFOR unit forced these infantry back. But it looks like OPFOR is making plans right now, because we can see all of OPFOR's markers, to take the DCA position. But 6 EME guys are on the move. They're going to run right into Blue 4. So I think the most critical player right here for both sides of this engagement is going to be Ziam, and if he can make that AT shot. If he can make the AT shot, I think Blue 4 will be able to clean up the OPFOR forces here. If he misses, Blue 4 will have no choice but to mount up in this Vic and pull back. I don't think they have any spare AT, because otherwise we would have seen the guy that got his got the AT shot down there grab some more. It was Aaron that made that hit. Great name, by the way. Where is Pogo? I did see Pogo in the match. He is the squad lead of Alpha, and he's on the Southern Defensive Force. They're basically watching to see if the helicopter comes around right here. But we also have Blue 4 and OPFOR deployed back here, and that's going to be a quick firefight there. But he's in reserve. Now we got SOF guys, Flash Ranger, and Nick starting to fire on OPFOR pushed up, and they managed to score a kill. Who did they pick off right there? What was his kit? That was the AT guy. Ooh, I mean, not absolutely necessary for OFCRA, but that would have been good to use as a shock weapon or if Blue 4 tried to pull back. But that MG, I believe that's an MG3. No. Not, I forget which one it is. I think it's an MG4, actually. It's just a, you know, futuristic MG. No, that would be an MG3, because it's a build off the MG32, 42. So yeah, MG3, great suppressive fire. They're managing to pick off a kill on OPFOR there. We might see Blue 4 send forces up to assist, but otherwise OPFOR, they're going to back off immediately. And now we're going to switch over to this firefight that's going to happen between 6 EME and Blue 4. Blue 4 has the numbers advantage here. We just heard AT get launched. That was the Weasel firing a TOW. Yeah, it's over here. So that Weasel just fired a TOW at infantry, and that tipped off this Blue 4 force that these guys were coming. So I think they spotted the 6 EME guys up here and sent this Blue 4 force to counter, and I don't think OPFOR knows that they're about to be flanked. The Weasel is distracting with tracer rounds, and Blue 4 has a really nasty opportunity here to get right behind OPFOR, score an ambush, get a few free kills, and potentially wipe this group, because Blue 4 does have a significant numbers advantage here. Meanwhile, the tank is also coming up, and it looks like they got their turret fixed. No, they did not. They got it moving. I don't know if they can go up or down, though. But they can still be a really nice distract weapon. And now you got OPFOR engaging Blue 4 in the ambush. You got some guys pushing up here. One Blue 4 guy taken out. Shadow trying to turn around to take out Mr. Dave. Blake is down. Shadow goes down to a grenade. Clemen, I believe, is bandaging there. Blue 4 getting a really good L ambush here. With the base of the L attacking and the line of the L pushing on the side and scoring a few free kills. I don't think Blue 4 has lost a single guy in this group, because the only skull I'm seeing is from when the BMD put ATGMs on the tank. But OPFOR, I mean, got a good chunk of skulls here from all around. So Blue 4 sticking to the smoke. NASA using this concealment here to bandage himself. Blue 4 really needs to push a few guys around and try to get the advantage here. But this tank arriving should help them out a little bit. But so far, it's just been... The firefights have been determined by who has the better Overwatch and Recon. For the first one, where OPFOR lost the BRDM, it's because they ran into a Blue 4 Overwatch position. Tank for Blue 4 got annihilated, not annihilated, but disabled, because OPFOR had the better Overwatch and found the tank first before the tank could find the infantry that I believe Blue 4 did spot. And then here, I think that Weasel spotted this 6 EME group and waited to fire, and said they tasked this infantry force that was on the hill to pull back. Blake, I think, got up. No, he is dead. Not sure if Bob Winchester got him, but Clemen managed to bandage himself and tried to exchange some shots with Bob here. I do see a good chunk of blood on the ground, and Bob is immediately going to bandage. You got Hippie doing a very wide flank here. I think he knows there's some more OPFOR guys back here. And then you got Delta doing another flank around, and here's the envelopment we're talking about. But OPFOR, they've pulled a few guys back to try to do some Overwatch here, but will it be enough? Yep, Erzgol just spotted Hippie. So now, can he come in and hit Hippie before Hippie comes in and hits Bogan here? Bokogan, yeah. So Hippie's going to follow up on him. Hippie does have an MG3, so he can put a lot of fire out very quickly, and he just knocks Boko out. Stone cold right there. You got Zix here. Zixme trying to hide. We just heard another round whiz by. That had to have been from the tank. So the tank is using the fact that it's broken, but they have their gun depression lined up so they can still shell down on where OPFOR is. You just had AT come up there. I don't know. It sounded like a friendly Panzerfaust, though. Because I don't see any dropped AT from OFCRA, so I think Blue 4 might have just attempted to shoot their own tank. Yeah, that was Bluck freaking out. You know, I just heard it again. That is, that's potentially Hippie firing, because he has a reloadable AT piece right there. Who's firing that AT? Can't be OFCRA, because OFCRA doesn't have any AT in this vector, so it's someone on Blue 4 mis-PIDing. But those rocket sounds were definitely not RHS OFCRA. Those were or RHS Armed Forces of the Russian Federation, which is what the AT that OFCRA has. It's definitely BW mod AT that's firing, so. It's unfortunate there. Meanwhile, OPFOR have fully redeployed here. PHK is now focusing on watching the south as his forces come in. BMD still hasn't moved, but it looks like they're trying to move now. But Blue 4 has a massive numbers advantage, and I think they're going to be able to maintain this. So the Weasel is still firing some tracer rounds down here. Tank pulled back. That MG is also low, but that was a really great idea to use the tank to still be effective just by putting on an overwatch position knowing that the gun was disabled. So you're seeing those tracers run out. I don't know where they're landing. I think they're landing just short from that Weasel. But yeah, OPFOR is in dire straits here. I think you just had Zix fire at a friendly. Goatland running up. He heard those gunshots, and now he's going to go down to Zix's position. Bluck also coming around. Urgol hears those. Bluck puts his back to him. Bluck finds Zixamy, gives some shots. Urzgol gonna try to attempt a Hillary Clinton. Not the complete back of the head, but close enough. Goatland coming up, mag dumping Zix, making sure he goes down. Urzgol now delivering some shots. Another thing about BW mod, the gun sounds are a little more quiet than RHS's. So it gives Blue 4 a little bit of a stealth advantage. Urzgol trying to get a grenade down on Goatland, but Bob Winchester comes around and puts Urzgol down. We're going to see Bob come up for the double tap. He's checking around, make sure he didn't run off. Finds the body. There's the shots. OPFOR down to 2 squads. One of them did take a casualty. That was the AT guy for that group, and they're now flanking around, going straight to the observation post. And OPFOR, they're going to take their BMD, and I did see a line go over here. They're going to be out for like 30 minutes as they attempt that flank around, which they have the time for, don't get me wrong. But honestly, just in the mixed unit tactics, because Blue 4 has been playing defensive, they've just had the advantage in waiting for OPFOR to come to them and then taking them out. How OPFOR could have won this, though, is they should have played the same game. They should have not tried to rush anything quickly around like they did. They should have tried to, you know, maybe stop the convoy here, send a few guys up, and look around. See if you can see anyone on Overwatch, for example. Get a few things through, but have like a Pathfinder group kind of lead for your convoy, or have the helicopter lead for your convoy. Because when OPFOR did get some sightline advantages here on this ridgeline, for example, they were able to disable the tank. But when Blue 4 got first eyes on, they were able to win the fights, and that just shows you how critical Recon and Overwatch are in these one-life operations, especially under OFCRA, where it's 2 hours. They have the time to do it. But it's just been better for Blue 4 here because they've just been able to wait out Op 4, who have been trying to be super quick and trying to get forces along. But now they're going to assault this, I don't even know if I guess you could call this a mountain with how steep it is, but PHK still has no idea. He's still looking around trying to find more of Op 4's force, but I think Op 4 is going to be able to jump PHK. But I don't know if they're going to be, I don't know if they're going to actually come up here. PHK might hear them coming. And then be able to relay to his groups. And then you'll see infantry probably converge on the outpost. That's 3 different groups that'll come in. Because there's no point in these guys being here or these guys being here if they fold in. We might see this group stay there, though. But this has just been textbook on whoever has the better intel wins the fight. And it's been great. It's been very, very great to see, you know, just some textbook PvP. Again, personally, I don't like playing PvP, but I'm a Zeus, you know, I just like watching how players interact with their environment, with their gear, with their weaponry, with their vehicles, and how they get some edges in a firefight to win the battle. Alright, so I think Tackle was able to... Nope, Tackle's also an RPG gunner. I think he was in the Vic, but they definitely ditched the BTR knowing that the audio would just slow them down. But I don't think they meant to throw that red smoke grenade. If they were quick about it, they could have tried to throw it in the water, but at the same time, I mean, when it was popped, they were screwed. So I think Op 4's best bet at this point would be actually if the BMD folded in and followed Op 4 into the objectives from the north, because this is going to take forever. Because all that's going to happen here is Op 4 is going to come up here, probably get heard by PHK, and if he's taken out, then Command's going to know something's up because they know where he is for Blue 4. Excuse me, PHK is Command. When I say Command in that sense, I mean everyone else that, you know, would take Command would know PHK was down. They're right next to an objective, so they would then push their units, and Op 4 would have to play King of the Hill here until reinforcements could arrive. Interesting enough, we have a Vic on fire. Don't know what caused that. It might have been a miscommunication by the Weasel. But Op 4 still has the one advantage of the BMD is technically the biggest fully functional asset in the AO. Yes, Blue 4 still has their tank, but the gun's disabled, and it's either going to have to literally charge and run right into the... Alright, we're going to get right back into it. I have no idea what just happened. I do apologize for that. Yeah, no, it just OBS randomly crashed. I don't know what to say. I'm going to forego the 5-minute delay. I'll apologize to the host here. But, I mean, at this point, Blue 4 knows what's up. So, doesn't really matter too much. So, quick updates here, because I just tabbed in to see everything. So, PHK was taken out. He wasn't able to take any Op 4 guys out with him. Blue 4 now knows that Op 4 is up there, and we're immediately seeing groups kind of respond to this. So these two Blue 4 groups are starting to fire at the hill up here. And otherwise, not seeing any Op 4 casualties on this group just yet. Actually, no, that's a lie. Jonathan, so that's Jonathan's body. So I thought that was PHK's body. PHK is actually dead up here. Yep, there it is. So looks like it was an SL and command trade, and now Op 4 is going to try to hold this outpost on their own with the 6 remaining units to the Blue 4's 3 remaining squads and damaged tank. You still have the Op 4 commander. I actually didn't know his Flip for Flap was all the way over here on his own, and you also still have this BMD on Christmas Island over here on its own as well. So... It's also zooming around because my keys got stuck, because sometimes when you tap out of Arma, it makes things get stuck there, but that's besides the point. Op 4, again, they have to hold this for an hour, or try to kill everyone. But again, I do apologize for that, chat. That was not my intent there. So Blue 4, we're just going to see them do a lot of suppression here. Another thing about Blue 4 is they do have the Weasel, which I completely forgot to mention, by the way. So I would say the BMD is still a better asset because it has a missile launcher similar to the Weasel. It has a cannon compared to the MG, but it also has a coax, which is, you know, like the MG. So it's got better firepower than the Weasel, but the Weasel can be a little more maneuverable. But if I were to look down back at the BMD here, yeah, there's a little coax right there, which would also be 7.62. But yeah, OBS crashed. I don't know why, but I checked the footage, and the footage is still good, which is weird because I save it as MP4s. So at least OBS had the decency to, you know, close out the video recording before it fully crashed, which is great. Allows me to recover that. I'm going to be curious, though, if Alfred's trying to patch him up, not realizing he's dead. Fun fact, if you ever get an inventory icon on a body, they're dead. If they're unconscious, then Ace won't let you pull stuff off their inventory unless you do an Ace interaction for it. So that's the best way to cheat, how to easily tell if someone's dead or not, so you don't have to, you know, check their pulse and see if they're actually dead or not. But Alfred, he's doing his best. He's trying to do some necromancy. And I like how Tackle has a HE, technically an OG shell, but it's an HE warhead. And if he wants to play Bunker Hill, he can just come up and HE a group of guys that are trying to get up here and do some good damage. But all OP4 needs to do right now is hold this position, let Blue 4 now come to them, because OP4 now controls the objectives here. Blue 4 could still win it, though, if they were to, you know, rush units down here. But as long as OP4 has the high ground and AT munitions, in which case, you know, it's HE warheads, they could do a lot of damage to Blue 4, and Blue 4 doesn't have a lot to counter. But Murdy just got his legs taken out. Again, this is not what you want to be doing right now, going in the open, because this is where you could potentially get picked off. OP4 just needs to bide their time, let this other group come in, and they could still potentially win this. But Blue 4, knowing that that BMD was over there, is now sending a vehicle back to potentially scan for it. But again, if they go up here, they can watch the MSR, and they can also watch the side flank. But I'm not sure if they're going to see that coming. Alfred's still trying his best. He's going to be really confused. Another hint, guys, if the leg is up 90 degrees, looks like he noticed he's dead, so he's taking his radio backpack now. But if the legs are contorted and you're literally a right triangle, you see this? It's you know, if you're A squared plus B squared equals C squared, you're dead squared. All right, that's the D squared part. All right, there's some little Pythagorean theorem stuff for you right there, but that's the common rule. All right. If you're A squared equals B, A squared plus B squared equals C squared, you're dead. Easy.
Let's give him a warm welcome, shall we?
Very easy. Quick facts. Otherwise, BMD is going to take another 5 minutes to get across. I think it's going to try to go for the DCA position at this point, because it has the ordnance to take out those Vics. Because if OP4 can hit that position, take those Vics out, and control the outpost, they could still win. Point-wise, as long as they don't get knocked out to, I believe, 2 or fewer players. They could still have the advantage at that point. What Blue 4 is going to want to do here, though, is make sure they have defensive forces on that DCA position, because, again, they're trying to defend the Flak panzers from getting blown up. But as long as they can do that, they could just rush this position and then win. But it's going to be a long holdout. We still have 55 minutes to go. But for OP4, I mean, this is just going to be a holdout. What they need to do, though, is still have a guy or two up here occasionally checking. Because what we're going to see, more than likely, is either Alpha or Charlie is going to suppress this ridge side as the other group tries to get right on top of the position and come up. And as long as the Overwatch group can make OPFOR keep their heads down, so long as they put units up here, then they'll be okay. However, if OPFOR doesn't put any guys up there to stop any infantry guys from pushing up, then Blue 4 will be able to get a force up. They'll trade evenly with OPFOR. Blue 4 will send another force and eventually win the fight. Is there a time limit? Yes, another 55 minutes. But it looks like OPFOR is also making a plan here to send additional forces down to the HQ position, but they don't need to do that if the BMD is successful in hitting the DC position. Now, we also got the Blue 4 tank coming up, but it's not going to be really effective here, because that tank turret is still down, and the MG turret is still down. And there's not a lot of good positions that the tank can go on to strike the top of that hill. The best it can do is try to angle itself where it's kind of back and facing upward into here. That way the tank gun can line up on the lower section. But that's going to be really tough to finagle. But if Blue 4 can do it, they could risk just having the tank pound the top of this hill and send both infantry squads and overpower this OPFOR position. And yes, OPFOR is at where Blue 4 Commander was. Blue 4 Commander is dead. He traded with this group's squad leader. And OPFOR now is just trying to hold this objective. But it's going to be a tough one. We also see the ground commander coming around. And it looks like Blue 4, they sent this Vic around over here. I guess they're trying to watch to predict where that BMD is coming around. But they predicted wrong, because the BMD did a massive wide flank instead. Hearing some more gunshots now. That is OPFOR actually... Wow. That is an incredible range. That's their marksman guys pick it up. They also had an M2 turret that was stashed up here. They're now bringing that around. And they're going to use that. They're firing at the Blue 4 guys around here. So I guess Blue 4 is trying to come around and potentially flank that outpost position, with OPFOR having really good eyes. Saw them and started engaging. If they start, they don't have a scope on that 50 cal, but if they had one of the guys with a PSO scope walk in those shots, it could be effective. But now you have OPFOR. They're leaving one guy up here to hold this position as they send the rest of the force down here. I don't think that's a good idea. I think they should just hold this position, not spread themselves thin, and let the BMD come around, take out the 2 Flak panzers to get those points, and then take the HQ. Because if OPFOR spreads themselves thin at this point, since they have all of Blue 4's attention... Blue 4, by the way, has... Oh, hold up. When did Bluck and Mr. Dave go down? Up here. That had to have been some blue on blue, because they, there's no OPFOR remaining up there, so I wonder what took them out. Probably when I crashed, something else happened up there, but there was no OPFOR over there. But they sweep that entire area, but they were firing at their own tank, which makes sense. But yeah, Blue 4 now completely abandoning this position. Excuse me, OPFOR abandoning the outpost position. Blue 4 setting up everything to overwatch that hilltop. Because they're planning on sending Charlie with their vehicle to go in as Alpha covers them. So this position is going to be a lot harder for OPFOR to hold, because there's so many, there's so much cover that Blue 4 can utilize to get close to this position. And I think we're going to learn if OPFOR can get in these Vics or not, because I guarantee you they're going to try to get in that tank. OPFOR could also make a holdout in this building, but there's too many entrances. There are 2, but there's only 6 OPFOR guys, so that's really tough to do, especially when Blue 4 still has the Weasel, still has a lot of Bunker Frost AT. They could just put all of that in, because Bunker Frost, it's AT ammunition, and completely wipe rooms and probably get a few free kills, and then again, just overpower OP4. I think OP4 had a better chance on that hill, but they don't have a squad lead, so they're just trying to communicate everything they can to the other group, so... I don't know, and then potentially Blue 4 also has the radio comms of OP4 because they did wipe an entire squad. Is this a French-based community? Yes. OFCRA is French-based, but they also have everything in English too. But you are allowed to speak your native language in OFCRA when you PvP with your group. There's actually quite a few different languages I've heard in this community. I don't know what any of it means, because I'm horrible with other languages. Heck, I can't even do English I can't even English properly half the fucking time. Oh, that... Ay, ay, ay. But now we've got OP4. They are doing a dismount on this BMD. Yeah, English, yeah, exactly. So... they're gonna basically just be very slow to take that DCA out, because they don't know where Blue 4 is. I like that idea, but it's going to cost them time. And time is the one thing that this 6-man OP4 group does not have a lot of. Because now you're starting to see Charlie come in with the APC. Alpha is doing their Overwatch with the 50 cal and the Weasel. They're keeping eyes on, but I don't think Blue 4 knows that this group exists. And the APC just ducked south. Is it going to cut across back here, or is it regrouping with friendlies or potentially the tank? Nope, there's the cut across. And then you also have this Blue 4 infantry group coming down. Flip for Flap is up here just trying to overwatch the back side. I guess just to make sure Blue 4 isn't going to come and try to take that outpost from the group, because they know that Blue 4 has that group over there. And I think Blue 4, knowing that OP4 is up on that hill, they're going to try and take this position to at least prevent OP4 from coming down. Little do they know that OP4 has actually taken that position. Because otherwise, if Blue 4 knew about it, they wouldn't have guys on Overwatch up there at this point. They would have moved this to be a major force and done a pincer attack on this objective themselves. So you're seeing where the imperfect information is on Blue 4's side here. The question, though, becomes, can the 6 guys in OP4 get the jump on the 7 guys in Blue 4 here when they come in to take this position and get the most bang for their buck? Wipe all 7 of them and only take 1 or 2 KIAs. Because they still have 2 other squads to contend with here. But if anything, what these guys need to do is try to take out as many as they can so that this group with the BMD can clean it up. If Blue 4 were to be a little more patient, though, I think Charlie's actually going to wait for the northern group. They're going to try to pincer that hilltop. But the question is going to become, does Blue 4 see any movement in that compound to get alerted that OP4 is down there? Because they are looking around. Alright, I just saw Aaron point. He does see an OP4 guy there, so now they know OP4 is down here. Is he going to take a shot, though, and try to pick off his head? I don't think they're going to do it just yet. So otherwise, there would be shots being exchanged right now. So Blue 4 might be patient here and wait for either backup or to get closer. But we also have Murdy coming up. He's only got a 10-round weapon, though. So he's going to have to be very selective at who he shoots at. I will also say, though, the MG3 has given Blue 4 a really, really good fire support advantage for this entire match. Just that quick fire rate has absolutely helped them. So far, no OPFOR casualties yet. Murdy's got to be careful because he might run right into Aaron here. But Murdy might spot him first, crawling around right there. He does not. Aaron might hear those footsteps, though. Murdy, come on, look right. You heard those gunshots. Come on. Oh, oh, no! He could have gotten a free kill right there and gotten away with it. But again, another advantage that Blue 4 has is the BW guns are actually a little more quiet than they're supposed to be. So gunshots don't sound as close as they actually are. Now you're hearing the Weasel open up on this position. AT going in. Now you got Zilm coming down. Tunnel vision. Murdy might spot him with that AT. Come on, Murdy. Poke your head up and pick his head off. He's going for the hiding instead. I think he really wants Blue 4 to go behind him. But Zilm... Oh, man. So Murdy's just trying to find a good spot to line up here. Might catch Zilm running back. Yep, Murdy spotted him. But does nothing knowing he can't get a good shot because he only has 10 shots compared to other Blue 4 units which will have 30-round magazines. So Murdy's best bet is to kill one of them. Take his gun, take his ammo, get behind the rest of the group, blend in with their audio PID, and just go to town. Because again, they need to make good trades. And still, we got all 6 OPFOR guys here. No casualties on Blue 4. But at this point, I mean... Zium, I'm calling him Zilm, my bad. Zium is just kind of teasing. Murdy, Murdy, come on! Murdy, this is the best shot you're gonna fucking get. Oh, Murdy. He hears them moving around, too. Also, I just heard the tank open up a few rounds. They fixed the tank barrel. And now it is shelling into this building. Weasel firing another round. That might have just gotten an OPFOR kill. Yep, there's only 4 of them remaining. Murdy, come on. Come on, you have to hear those gunshots. You gotta know he's close. Just get up and take him out. He's worried, though, because he doesn't know that this guy's on his own. He thinks there's more guys here. So he doesn't want to blow his cover just yet. Everyone's first person. So Murdy, he had to have heard those footsteps behind him. But he has the perfect opportunity to kill one of them and blend in because the rest of them are getting in the vehicle and charging up. So this force is just flanking around completely. I think OPFOR is going to be wiped at this spot before the other force can get there. And the tank almost flipping over by hitting a wall. And they're trying to hit one of the guys that was turned out on the machine gun. Zilm running around, noticing his friendly tank assets here. Murdy crawling around. Probably heard that tank. Might try to get some AT on him, even though that's the worst possible AT to use. But Alfred, I think, spotted Zium and tried to put some shots on him. So I believe it is Mr. Cool driving and Nubass turning out when he needs to. Could be wrong on that, though. And now you got the APC charging in. And Murdy probably heard it drive by. Oh, Murdy, come on, get that AT out, buddy. Come on, this is exactly what you could want. He might go for some pickoffs instead, but he's dead if he opens up. He could get 1 or 2, but he doesn't have the magazine capacity. His best bet is to put that AT in. Come on, yes. It's a little late now because they're all dismounting. And that AT is not going to do much. Because it's just a grenade. Yeah, that's why I hate that AT piece, because it doesn't really do anything. He would have been better off just firing in the group of infantry. And there's Murdy trying to put some shots, and you saw everyone immediately start firing. He's dead. He did get a kill, though. So he at least went... Oh, no, actually, I think that was Alfred that just got that pick off. Yep. But Murdy... Yeah, that wasn't him. He died twice. But Nah, just didn't have a good piece of AT there. Should have fired it in the group of infantry, but it's also... That piece of AT is very misconceiving if you have never dealt with the green 4 AT stick before, because that thing is a piece of shit. It is literally like you just fire a grenade into a crowd, and it does the same exact damage as a grenade. If not a little more, and it's meant for, like, taking out technicals. But, like, not destroying them, just damaging them. Alfred doing a really good job overwatching above that tank. That tank doesn't notice. But now if OPFOR can catch a few of these blue 4 guys out of position here, they should be okay. But OPFOR down to 3 guys defending. That is the thermobaric warhead going in and killing Aaron. Good use of that right there. Aaron did not stand a chance. His Luns are now steak. And now you've got Mr. White here grabbing the OG rocket. And he will have the chance to kill some more infantry for free. I don't think this OPFOR group has any AT, though, to engage that tank. But Blue Force sandwiching more infantry in. This is not good. Again, these 3 just have to focus on getting as many kills as they can at this point. Tank is now being sent off somewhere else, realizing that's not going to be the best unit this close in. And Carl looks like he's digging a trench right here just on the outside because they don't know where they're getting shot at from that unit. That's what it is. Yeah, the RPG-26. It is an absolute piece of shit. If you ever... No. The RPG-26 is the OPFOR version. No, that one's okay. It's like the MLG... no, the MGB something. The Green 4 launcher. But it basically looks like a Green 4 Law. But it's a piece of shit. Never use it. There's so much better AT. Like, that's an absolutely if you have to thing. It's disgusting. But no, the RPG-26 is the Russian equivalent of the M72. And again, both of those are good AT sticks for what they are and what they can deliver. Alright, so Blue 4, what they need to be doing right now is getting whoever has a bunker FOST. So like Royd Camper, that orange text there, it said frag on it. They need to fire those into this building to try to eliminate whoever is still remaining in here. Now you got Bob coming into this building on his own, looking around. Alfred might hear him coming, though. GL potentially just came into this building by one of these OPFOR guys, but it's unlikely. I think it's... Nope, it is Blue 4 firing OPFOR into here. So Bob now trying to get into a firefight with Alfred. Looks like he won that fight, though. Alfred didn't die. He got knocked out. But yeah, no, Bob Winchester really good at getting scoring things on his own here. So he's now going to bandage in a corner. Alfred could wake up, but it's unlikely. Now OPFOR's down to 2 in this building. Again, we still have a whole OPFOR force here. They stole some of Blue 4's Vix. But Blue 4... NASA breaching and clearing. Did he actually... He just picked off NASA. That is a very cheeky firing hole right there. Wow. Yeah, no, he just annihilated NASA as he came up. I don't mean to sound rude, but NASA had no chance there. Mr. White, that is diabolical. I absolutely love it. Now, hopefully, Blue 4 is going to see this gun and get a little cautious here, at least see the body, and notice that's a kill zone. But yeah, it's up to Mr. White to hold that angle. And then Mancott is holding over here at this other stairwell to cover Mr. White. But if a grenade comes in here from that area, they're screwed. But Blue 4 has plenty of bodies to try to figure this out. You have another Blue 4 guy that just came up here, who got hit by the other one. That was Royd. So OPFOR picking a really great building to go last stand in here. I think Mr. White's waiting with Oh, he mistimed throwing that grenade. He allowed Hippie to get up here. And Hippie is now just wildly spraying and praying as a grenade is thrown, but does not pick Hippie off. Alfred's still unconscious back here. I doubt he's going to wake up, though, at this point. And then you have Bob covering over here. He sees Barros and starts firing. They're going to immediately know that's blue on blue, though, because those gunshots sound a lot different than the AKs. 35 minutes remaining. And OPFOR, I think they're going to go take the DCA position out. I've been saying that for the past 20 minutes. Oh, Barris, I think, oh, I thought that would climb up to the floor that these two were on. If Mr. White were to look out the window. I think Bernie just looked over and saw him right there. There goes Sacred Bands. He has no idea where he got shot from. He thinks it's upstairs. And he's going to immediately run downstairs. Blue Force still trying to hone in on where OPFOR is. Or is Sacred going to be a Chad and put explosive charges right under their room? Please tell me that's what you're doing. Because he is a demo specialist. I'd love to see a demo play on this, because that's actually perfect. But no, he's going to bandage instead. You can hear the tank that's come back. And it's starting to get dark. Alfred bleeding out. See, if Blue Force can figure out what room that OPFOR is in, though, they can start spamming that with grenades and GLs here. 43664. I bet he's one of the guys that killed, like, two of the friendlies back over there. And Bob, I think, just killed 4-4. Blue Force so effective that they need to find more bodies to shoot or else they start taking out their own. But there's Sacred taking a face full of lead there. Mancott needs to do a mag. There it is, the mag reload. Sacred can still wake up, though. He was East German, that's why. Oh, God. I would assume, so this is 3 different Blue Force squads together right now, so they're all on different frequencies here, and they're all intermingled trying to find where OPFOR is. So I think Blue Force now sending forces up here, realizing they had a guy go KIA, so now they're sweeping up north to potentially take the outpost, too. But really great security done by these two OPFOR guys. They're doing their best to hold out. Mr. White has a tandem warhead ready in case he sees that tank again. And OPFOR still on Overwatch positions on DCA. How many OPFOR are left? 2 in this compound, and then 1 more squad, and then ground command is also starting to come in. But Blue 4 have honestly taken most of their casualties in the past 10 minutes. Jesus. How did Mr. White miss Goatland coming through that window, that door? Mancott wakes back up. He's going to need to be covered, though. Goatland also knocked out. Where is that fire coming from? That would be the Weasel potentially finding the door. The fact that OPFOR is up here in this room. And now you got Snake Doctor firing at Rigel. And Rigel, it's because Rigel picked up the RPG. So they're confused now because of weapon PID. Now he's firing again at Rigel. There is so much blue on blue. It's shocking. So Mancoat, he's been able to do a few bandages. Should still be okay. I'm surprised OPFOR hasn't tried opening these doors on the side. but wow. If I were to count the skulls here, oop. I think that went above on Manco's position. Still injured him a little bit. And now you're hearing demolition on here. That is the BMD firing at the Flak panzers. And he should eventually be able to get some cook-off kills on these. We can hope. But Blue 4's going to hear that. I'm not sure if they'll send anything down to the south to defend against that. They're just going to instead defend these two positions, sacrificing those DCAs. I think that was the whole plan all together. Gotland bleeding out. Sacred Oath, Sacred Band, excuse me, still alive. Rigel's still alive. But you got Snake Doctor looking up at him. Realizing that's just a friendly with an RPG. Ezio getting to a firefight with Mr. White, but Ezio winning the fight and watching him drop. Now it is up to Mancot here. But that MG3 is just too fucking much with that fire rate. The amount of lead it can put out. And I'll be honest, I'm going to equate it to the MG3 that's given Blue 4 the biggest advantage here. Just with, I mean, this firefight, that one clean out in the building. It was Flash and his buddy getting a pick-off kill over there with it. It was the MG3 that helped flank around to kill that Op 4 squad back here. Where you see these bodies and bandages here. That's what's really helped out Blue 4 the most out of all of their assets. And you still have the BMD trying to snipe these vehicles out to not really any success. The BMD can do damage to it, sure, but it's not going to be able to get any explosions on it. Did you just... That was a BWAT launch. So for those of you that are joining us, they were also shooting at their own tank too, so... I would think because we see blood right next to this, that wasn't them deading their own Vic. That was Bob Winchester blowing up his own weasel. The -1. But again, in this previous firefight here, when the tank drove up to this hill position, we're not going to see the impact craters so they would have unrendered, but they were also firing at their own tank with AT. So, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I've seen a greater amount of blue on blue than this round with Blue 4. There's at least been 5 or 6 different friendly fire incidents, and there have been at least 3 KIAs to blue on blue. Definitely. And that's kind of helped Op4 bounce back. I don't think it's going to be enough, but Op4, they still have a full squad here. They still have their BMD. They're considering the DCAs destroyed because of the amount of weaponry that was put on there, so that's a technical call. And they just put an AT round up here on this outpost, seeing Blue 4 running around in this position. Any free? That destroyed the 50 cal turret too. Oof. Or that might have just been it moved into the sandbags to kill it off. I think Carl... No, he's bandaging. Yeah, so he got hit by that AT. I thought he was looking down to see ground command there. But realistically... Op4 still has a chance because they have the only... Wait, no, where's the tank? Where's the Blue 4 tank? Okay, it was brought into this compound. So, Blue 4 has the biggest vehicle asset here. I'm going to start putting my light on because it's getting dark. But if we were to do a head count real quick, We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's an AI, so it doesn't count. So 8 OP4 plus flip is 9 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 blue 4 infantry. But 4 of those infantry are crewmen. And they're all separated in different squads. Every squad's taken some casualties. Meanwhile, these guys have only been overwatching today. So you might see something close here. And okay. He just got fucking shot. Oh my god. No. 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 I gotta see who disappears. That's gonna explode. Okay, thank God there wasn't an explosion. That could have killed people. In which case, that would have been one of the most cheesy things I would have seen. I thought that would be a bigger explosion and potentially kill that. Oh my God. So 2 OP4 guys going down. Their number now down to 5. Actually 6 technically, including Devil Dog. But, well, and then plus flip for flap, that is going to be 6. AT shots going out. That's stolen AT, by the way, the OG round. You're seeing the little case clippings of the MG3 falling off, just to show you how quick the fire rate is on Hippie's machine gun. And I think he actually got a kill right there off of someone. Yep, that would have been... I actually don't recall who it is, but yeah, we're down to 5 plus 1. God, if that exploded and had like a bigger explosion like you normally see in vehicles and it actually killed some people on the floor below, I would have stopped the stream right there, to be perfectly honest. I would have stopped it there and just started playing DayZ, because that's all I needed. OP4 would have just won it for me right then and there. I mean, again, last night on Fapovo, we had a player base use a BRDM to ram a T-80 into a river and disable the T-80. So, you know, if it works, right? Cali, meanwhile, coming around, getting a pick-off kill on a straggler OP4 unit, and we've got Brewer now running up over here. Mag dumping with his 75-round magazine here, trying to hit Pogo. And Ezio, I think, just put some AT on that BMD. Crew now desperately trying to come out. And 6-4 picked off. There's some fire effects going off on it. AT going in, not sure if it killed anyone. I still can't believe that happened. Alright, what do we have left at this point? Yeah, it's still a little too bright for night vision, in my opinion. Flip for flap across the bank. Devil Dog could channel the inner Audrey Hotto and get some kills here, but he is it. Unless Flip wants to close in. Hearing more AT fire out. That was Bunker Foss going in. You can tell because the explosion sounds a little harder. And you got this going. They also always play a second mini game, which is a lot shorter. It's only 30 minutes. I don't cover that though, because, oh man, yeah, it got dark very quickly. Jeez Louise. Because that's just them messing around. Man, we've just seen a lot of chaos in this match. All right, Devil. Let's see what you got. I'm rooting for him. He's probably not going to win, but I'm rooting for him. Yeah, Flip's just staying there. I think he's giving up. I think he's trying to pick off people up here, actually. Yeah, I hear those gunshots. Oh, it's pitch black. By the way, they can't see this client-side light. Oh, nope, there it is. All right, so it was only an hour 30 that time. But Blue 4 technically winning the entire round. They did say the DCA was technically counted as the shorts. That would have given Op4 3 points to the 8 here. But yeah, the supremacy goal of getting all but 2 people killed off makes sense. But Devil Dog still coming in, getting some kills, running by, Roland trying to talk him down, and he just... just bitch slapped him. He just fucking bitch slapped him. He just put his hand out and just knocked him on his ass. Oh my god. Oh, what was that? Alright, we'll be back at 8 for Paw Patrol. I might stream some DayZ in between. I'm just... I need a minute.